Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today is Friday, and it's the 15th of November. So it's the end of the second week of November, and it's been an exciting week. I've fished three different areas, and we'll talk about it. Right now, I'm on Lake Okeechobee. It's a Friday, and I have a guide trip tomorrow, so I'm getting ready for the guiding. And I want to show you what I'm catching them on. First of all, I've caught about 20 bass today, and I'm catching them on a couple things. One of the things that's really working is a swimming worm. I'm just throwing it just to the edge of the grass, edge of these what we call the hard line. Kind of let it sink a little bit, let it sink down to the bottom there, and then just start slowly retrieve it along. Just slowly retrieve it along. And they hit it as you're reeling it. They hit it, and bam, then it's a worm. It's a worm. So they just kind of go down, boom, set the hook. Okay, that's the first thing. The second choice is when I'm hitting the windy edges, the windy spots, like right over there. I'll throw the spinnerbait or a chatterbait out, kind of right on the edge of the what we call the hard line. It's all actually 4 and 5 feet deep under there. Even though the weeds are here, it's just as deep here as it is back in there. So it's what they call, that stuff's floating. Okay, that's two ways of catching them. The third way that I have that's pretty good, it's really a good way, it's like a swim bait. Okay, a swim bait really consists of a this is kind of a Big Easy, or I don't know what it is, something like that. A skinny dipper. That's a skinny dipper. That's a 4-aught EWG. Well, it's not an EWG hook. It's a special hook with a little 1/8 of an ounce weight on it. And again, I'll throw it actually up on the weeds a lot of times, and then just kind of pull it into the weeds, pull it off the weeds into the water, let it sink 3 or 4 seconds, and then just reel it in. Just a slow, steady retrieve. Now, this is particularly good. I was in the western end of the lake this morning with this thing, and it's called Moonshine Bay, or the Monkey Box area, the Moonshine Bay, and there's a lot of lily pads. And so this particular lure is really good in lily pads. I caught a couple bass around, one of the biggest one was about 3.5 pounds on the swim bait. Okay, that was a really good one. Now, the other one, and while I was back there, and even along here, the spro frog. I tell you can't beat a spro frog. Here in Okeechobee and Headwaters and all over the state of Florida, that spro frog is just a killer. And I'm running on actually, I'm a little light now. No, I'm 65-pound braid. I'm running a 65-pound braid. That's the 60 popper, and that's a really good one. I bent the hooks just a little bit out, just perfect. And again, what I'm doing with the frog is I'm throwing it into the edge of the grass, like right there, and I come along and kind of just pop it along. Now, right now the sun's out, and they hit it better early in the morning when there's low light, early in the day. And I caught 4 or 5 bass. The biggest one I had about a 4-pounder on this frog. So that's really kind of a good thing. I'm going to use a lot of frogs tomorrow. Okay. Then, as the sun gets up, this is a great lake for pitching and flipping. And here's my pitching and flipping deal, if I can find it, right here. Okay, this is a big heavy-duty rod, and I have 65-pound braid. That happens to be a 1 ounce weight on that. It's a tungsten weight by Spro. It's a really nice weight, and it's a beaver kind of a crawl worm that I have on there, and it's a new Super Duty, really heavy-duty Spro hook, flipping hook. It's a 4-aught Spro flipping hook. And what I do here is I'll go into the grass, and I see those penny warts right there. I actually go into them about 3 or 4 feet, like back in there. Let it to the bottom. Jig it up once, twice, 3 times. You hadn't hit it. Let's get it out of there. You don't spend a lot of time doing it. You say again. I want to flip back. Right in that heavy spot right there, right there, to the bottom. Let's look at it. Lift it up once, twice. Nothing hit it. Go to the next spot. It's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drops into the heavy weeds. Drop it down to the bottom. It's about 4 feet deep here. Lift it up 2 or 3 times. And well, anyway, I caught a couple 3-pounders on that. So the actual way I caught the most fish, though, I got into a little area that had uh, some running water. Now, there's some little canals that come in, and I've told you so many times the importance of running water. I caught 15 bass this morning. Most of them are small, but I did have 2 over 3 pounds, and that's a regular Carolina rig. Now, I make my Carolina rig a little different than a lot of people. I actually use a bobber stop to kind of slow the weight down. That happens to be a big old heavy weight. It's probably more weight than I need. That's an 1.25 ounce weight. It's probably, I don't need a weight that big. I could get by with a 3/4 ounce weight, but they hit it. The point was, that's a 5-inch. That's a worm by that's a sticko worm from Bass Pro Shop. It's a 297 green pumpkin on a 4/0 EWG hook. Okay, it's all set up. And on that deal, and I was in a little canal thing today, I throw it out there, and it just throws like a bullet. And then there's a lot of gravel on the bottom and shell beds, and I know where some shell beds are. And I just drag it real slow and easy. Just drag it along the shell beds. And all of a sudden, they go tap, tap, tap. I just let them take it a little bit. Just let them take it, and then just kind of just reel into them. I don't set the hook. I just reel into them, and I got them. And so, like I say, I caught a whole bunch of fish on that today. So that's my Okeechobee deal. Hey, but that's not my big deal. My big deal, folks, I had a day the other day at Headwaters 2 days ago. It was the best of the year. I went and got 11 dozen shiners, and they cost me quite a bit of money. You know, shiners are $25 a dozen, and I'm not catching them right now because, well, I'm just not. I'm just buying them from the Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters, Pat Kelly. And so I'm paying $25 a dozen for them. So anyway, I had 11 dozen. That's a lot of shiners. That's, you know, almost $300 worth of shiners. Anyway, I got out there. They were biting so good that this man and wife, and I didn't fish. I have a rod, maybe 1 or 2 rods, and I'll use a designated angler. Who's the designated angler? But they were biting so good, we didn't hardly get a 3rd rod in there. I was so busy baiting up. We ran out of bait the first time, the first 8 dozen, and I was taking shiners and cutting them in half, dead ones, and actually putting a half a shiner. Put a half a shiner on the bobber and throw it out there, and there was such a frenzy. They were hitting all over the boat, and they'd come up and break water that that hit the dead shiners. In fact, one time this guy caught a pretty good one, about 5 pounds, and he got it up to the boat, and there was an old dead shiner, and he took a pliers and pulled it out. And when he pulled the shiner out, it was all nasty looking, and it was all, the rib cage was all decayed, and the head was half gone. And I said, put it on the hook, see what happens. He put it on the float, threw it out there. Daggone if he didn't catch another bass, about 4 or 5 pounds. But anyway, at the end of the day, what was so cool was it was right at 3 o'clock, and I told my party, I said, you know, we've been out here all day, and it's time to leave. So we're going to have to head in. It's 3 o'clock even. About that time, the daggone rod went down. The other rod got tangled in it. And all of a sudden, we got 2 rods tangled up. We had an 8-pound, 6-ounce bass on. An 8-pound, 6-ounce bass. Well, I thought we were going to have to hand land it because it was all hung up in the other line. But we finally got it in, and he got it. And sure enough, I'd show it to you on the phone. I'm using the iPhone right now. But we did enter it for the Florida Trophy catch. We got the length. It was 24 inches long, or 25 inches long, and it was a 17.5-inch girth, and it was 25-inch fish. Anyway, it computed out to be, well, we actually had a scale. I have a picture of the scale. It was 8.43 on the scale, 8.43. So that's really about 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Anyway, it was really, really good fish. Okay, 2 days before that, we had another really good deal. I went down to Fort Lauderdale with my good friend Steve Papp, and I've fished with Steve a lot down A1. A1 is that retention area, that 17,000-acre retention area below Lake Okeechobee. Anyway, Steve said, listen, Roland, let's go hunting and fishing the canals at Fort Lauderdale. I said, yeah, what are we going to hunt? The iguana lizards, big old lizards. Now, the bodies are about this big, but the tails are about, they're 4 and 5 feet long. we'll shoot these iguana lizards. I got the special permit from the state of Florida, wants them eradicated. They're a nuisance thing. They're digging holes everywhere, eating everybody's flowers up, and there's way too many of them. And so they can use an air rifle, and he calls the fishing game and says, listen, I'm going up this canal. We're going to shoot iguanas out of people's yards. Nobody really complains because they're such a pest. And sure enough, we got 3 big ones. I got 2 of them, and one was almost 5 feet long. It had a body this big, and the legs were, this big around. The tail is about this big around, about the size of a corn cob. Anyway, I ate iguana lizards 2 nights ago. I had a really good time. And then we caught snakeheads. And what I did, I caught the frog. And I took the frog. It was so much fun. We took the frog, a white frog like this, and I just threw it out there, and I'd reel it real fast across the lid, just fast, just going crazy with it, fast. Capoose, these 4 or 5 pound snakeheads were crashing it, and we caught 15 of them. And we had 2 peacock bass, and then Steve had also some shiners. And so we went to a bridge. He said, Roland, there's some big snook and tarpon underneath this bridge. And so sure enough, I took a little minnow, I took a spinning rod, threw it up under the bridge. We were up under the bridge, in the shade of the bridge. Cars are going over top of us. And I caught about a 5 or 6 pound snook. And it was a real good one. Nice keeper snook if I wanted to keep it, but I didn't. But anyway, that was what's happening in my world. It was just a fantastic day. We had all those iguanas and all those other fish. We even had some bass. And so we've had such diversity this week. And the water's cooled down. The fish are biting good. I can't ask for a better week. I mean, with the diversity we had and the big bass we had and the numbers of bass we had, it was just fantastic. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on in my week, going on in my world. If you would hit that likes button, because all my people, my Bass Pro Shop people, and all my people from Frog Togs and Booyah and everyone else, they'll really be excited with your hitting that likes button. We'll see you again soon. Hey, and thanks for watching.